welcome back to the Friday edition. Sorry, Kiki just walked up. I was just petting her. Friday edition of Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Disembodied Beard, John, and, you know, all of you. And Kiki is sniffing the box that Bonita arrived from Bonita yesterday. Yeah, is it new? Is it a new box? Does it smell like Zeus? It has many, many, many MSP 2.0 paints in it. So many, Bubba. I believe it's the purples and the browns. Hey, Ultra Skid. How's it going? The squid is here. Alrighty. So we're going to be working on Phase Cat today. It's a lot of paint. A lot of paint. Yeah. I'm very intrigued. Bonita says the browns are super creamy. Also, that metallic shading video will come out today. Kodiak, I just need to edit it. I did some weird stuff with it. There's some standard stuff, but a lot of it's talking about like washes and different ways to use them. And I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview of a crazy thing I did. It's a crazy thing. Yes, I used Space Marines this time because I had them. They're part of the Leviathan set, and I was never going to paint them. So they became my sacrificial models. Yeah, so just shading this time, and then for the next video I'll be taking the different examples that I have here that you guys will see in the video, and I will be applying highlighting to them with different techniques. Yeah, so if you want to know how that happened, then you should watch the video when it comes out later today or tonight. Whenever I get the editing done, it'll come out, but it'll come out. I want to get it off my plate today, so. And I'm making David make supper, so I'll have plenty of time. Also, yay, after days of thinking, even over a month of thinking, I finally have the ending for North of the Wind in my head. So that means I can now write. Before it was like little bits of like, I was going over what I'd already written. And I was trying, because I never have had, like, I kind of had it, but I never had a really firm, like, for the ending, it has to be, like, this cool scene that just, like, I know it. It pops into my head. And then, once I have the ending, then I can write toward it. But I didn't want to write until I had, like, the ending, because I was still figuring out, like, the themes of the book and, like, things like that. I was like, this book is better than I think it is right now, and I need to think about it. So this morning, finally, so you can blame our late start on the fact that I finally got the ending scene for my novel, and I had to frantically write it down, at least like in Cliff Notes, so that I could write the real one when it comes to it. The only thing Space Marines are good for. Yes. But yeah, Space Marines are good for metallics anyway, just because they have, you know, a combination of texture and smooth armor, and so you can see the various differences. And of course, there will be a PDF for this one too, as I'll get to talk a little bit more about stuff. Wow, that blue tack is like calcified. All right, so I want to do more spots today. I want to do more highlights today. I want to make these spots less square today, a little maybe. Stuff like that. So let's get our colors mixed up. So we need our black indigo, which I think I put away because I was like, I don't need this right now. Foolish Anne. Of course you need it. Oh, wait, maybe I didn't put it away. Maybe it's still here lurking on my desktop and I've just I've temporarily exiled it to the outer boundary. So, black indigo, and then we were just, I think, using white to bring that up, and then I was working with the Surf Aqua, the brand new Surf Aqua, the 2.0, Surf Aqua 2.0. There we go. All right, and black. Spots and shadows. Hey, Roger. Also, I have a new appreciation for these little silicone palettes. Tiny silicone palette. So good for metallics. When you just don't want to like have the metallics stick to your palette. I really like the silicone ones for metallics. All right, so I want black for shading and for spots, and then we're also going to work more with these. I want to, I might want to glaze a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. I kind of want the little kind of weird, creepy underworld glowing effect in the turquoise, though, so I don't think I want to dim that down very much. So pure black, black indigo. Yeah, it's just much easier to get the metallics out of the, once they've dried, very easy to get them out of the silicone palettes, so. And since metallics are a pain usually to get off of regular, even porcelain palettes, because they, the base that they're in tends to be very high acrylic, so it tends to be a very hard base, a very durable base, and that means hard to get off your palette when it dries. So if you have a little Ori Big silicone palette, streak through the stream. But it's only a 5-stream streak, so you know it would be streakier if it was bigger. We'll just leave that comment there. Alrighty. Yeah, you don't need a fan. Well, this isn't fancy. This is just one of those little 6-well ones. They're pretty inexpensive. But yeah, you can use the Fidget Pop toys too. They're super cheap. Although some of them are a little bit too little, I think. I like if you can get the one with the bigger pops, that works. But yeah, that works just fine. Let me get my debris from yesterday off of this table. There we go. Despite my best efforts, I've once more become encircled by rows of paint that I need to put away. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. No, I'm happy that you can catch it. Put water. All right, let's see what we got here. Mix up these suckers and there we go. I think I'm going to go this way. There's our highlight color for the regular fur. I've got just a little bit of white and the black indigo here. And we'll go down to the pure black. Stays pretty strong, even with the water in it. I might need to strengthen that even a little bit more, because I think I put one extra drop of water in that I didn't need. Ah, 100% of revenue goes to the artist today. Good to know, Crowley, good to know. For those who don't know, Bandcamp has a lot of good indie musicians on it. I don't remember where I put my Bandcamp app. It's around here somewhere. Ah, well, I'll find it later. And Bandcamp is doing right by the artists, as you can see, so it's a good org to support. I'm going to lighten this aqua just a little bit, put a little bit of white in it because I need it to be, it's kind of the lightest part here. So just going to lighten it up a tiny bit and then I'll build another highlight off of this. And I think today I might add in a little bit of our, Quinny's going to be excited, moth green, just to see how it transitions here. Yeah, I don't like them for a regular palette because the thing is that the silicone doesn't let me see the translucency. I often use how the paint is falling off the edge of the palette here to show me translucency of my, you know, just kind of a double check on myself for whether my paint's at the right consistency. The silicone palettes won't do that because they're hydrophobic. So it's, so that's the limiter. But for colors like metallics, where I'm really not thinning them very much and I'm not, you know, necessarily layering with them, the silicone is fine. So it all, once again, you know, there's no one tool that fits every circumstance, but every tool has a place, right, that you could use it. But yeah, they do make cleanup a lot easier. And if you don't rely on the paint, like looking at to see how much of the palette you can see through the paint to see how the opacity is, then certainly you would not have the issue that I have. So adding a little bit of moth green into our lights, or thought, wow, that really punched it in the face, Quindy. That really punched that color in the face. Yeah, right. The silicone makes sense when you don't want to thin the paint because... Okay, so what that told me is that's going to shift the color really, really profoundly. So I'm actually going to punch it back the other direction. We're just punching things today, folks. There we go. That's more like what I wanted. Just a little bit of green. The new moth green is super highly pigmented, and that is why it punched that color in the face so hard. Well, yeah, because they're cute. Like after you pop the paint out, they're shiny little like paint buttons. Kids love shiny little paint buttons. A little bit more water here, I think. I want to layer. My water is starting to get temperamental on me. I knew it was going to do that. Yeah, hopefully DDRPG is progressing, right? And hopefully we hear about, I'd like to get a solid idea of when 2.0 might launch. But Bonita is making great progress on getting through the line and doing the reformulations on every single color. So, some good stuff, folks. Alrighty, kitty cat. Let's see what we got here. All right, 20 stream. See, there's Roger streaking through the chat, and he's got a 20 stream streak. That's impressive. All right, I'm going to just do dots this time. I'm going to do dots in rows. And I think I'm going to fade in. I want to make sure that I'm fading in to black on some of these shadows. So I am actually going to put a black shadow here that kind of eclipses these spots. So I'm going to essentially paint it like little brush strokes of black over the top. And it's going to kind of build up on top of these spots and wipe them out just a little bit. But I'm keeping it in line with the hair texture. And this will help, like putting more black shadows here is going to help the panther look more black. So the more fade outs and black areas we can get, the more shadowy our Kidde will be. And we want a properly shadowy Kidde. Hey Corsair. Long time no see. Ah, April. Alright, so it's going to be a couple months. But by that point, Bonita will have had the time to reformulate everything and to have new formulas for everything. So the kitty does not have measles. I'm going to turn these into proper spots, fear not, these little specks. I just am kind of mapping them out, doing a slightly different way this time. And I want to try to keep them a little rounder. Oh yeah, that's been confirmed for years that for ages that the DDRPG paints are 2.0. Kiki, that's a no. If they make a sample set for sale, then they need to make sure that they're giving out the most popular colors so that people need multiples of them. Although maybe you could just do, I suppose, you could just offer the new colors too. Although, I don't know, putting anything out for sale is just vampirizing your potential Kickstarter sales, so that's a question mark, but, you know, whatever Reaper wants to do, Reaper's going to do. I mean, marketing-wise, it's... Maybe you make a limited set available for a limited time to kind of promote the Kickstarter so people can try the paints and decide whether they want to get in. But I don't know that that's even necessary. But yeah, again, it's Reaper's call. Reaper gonna do what Reaper thinks. Reaper gonna do Reaper things. I'm not there, so I'm not in the... Yeah, I decided I want to do melanistic leopard kind of idea, gilded. I mean, it's a Black Panther, right? So why wouldn't you give him spots? Most black leopards show spots in the light, and that's what I'm kind of pulling from. Yeah, John was in the chat a minute ago. But I don't know, maybe his tours have kicked off. Who knows? But yeah, gosh knows there's enough paints in the 2.0 that they should be able to put out a sample set if they want and still have plenty of paints for people to buy. Alright, right, so I'm going to be green stuffing around some of this area, so I don't want to necessarily, I'm not going to really care about the stuff right here. Yeah, I mean, they could just duplicate the Reapercon sample set and make it available for general consumption. They already have the box done. That I could see. Because I think... Yeah, it's just a standard 2.0 box set. So it doesn't have Reapercon stuff on it. So you could totally repurpose it. They're doing some sample... They did some sample colors for Adepticon for the goodie bag, I know. Speaking of which, I suppose I should buy my Adepticon badge. I don't think I've done it yet. I should make a note. Hold on, I gotta make a note, guys. To remind myself to buy my Adepticon badge. Adepticon badge. Then I can get on and get my thing. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Reaper will figure it out or they won't. I mean, selling a sample set in advance of the Kickstarter does allow you to start, you know, making a little money while you're, you know, waiting for all the Kickstarter stuff to wrap. And it lets you test your audience, which is a good idea, you know. See how it might give you an idea how much demand there is. But yeah. I'm in La La Land today. I got sleep last night. I'm trying to chillax. The year of the chillax, guys. I was not very chillaxed yesterday because I was stressing out about getting this video done. It was a video where I was like, I wasn't sure, like, I had too ambitious of what I want, an idea of what I wanted to cover, and I realized I needed to dial it down a little bit. It's a really long video for a fundamentals video. It's probably going to be almost half an hour. Hopefully I can get it down to like 25 minutes, but there's a lot to talk about, so. So yeah, dulling those shadows, we're down all the way to black. Oh, people were talking about the hypothetical sample set for 2.0 that might be for sale. We were discussing pros and cons. No, the tentacles are definitely more flesh-like. They don't have the texture, and there's like fleshy grooves in here. But the tentacles will be the same, will be that color, will be the blue, the black indigo here, and then they're going to transition out to brighter colors. Gilded brush, that was my concept. And I'm going to bring in moth green at the very end of the tentacles. So it'll go from black indigo through surf aqua to moth green at the tips. Yeah, right. You wouldn't want to make a big set available. But a small sample set might be fine. I don't know. It's something I don't see. I don't see Kickstarters do it because essentially it does it does vampirize your sales. Like, it will. Because some people who might have gone in on, say a smaller set from the Kickstarter will be like, maybe they'll try it and they'll be like, oh, well, this isn't exactly what I wanted. And so then they won't pledge for the Kickstarter, right? Where they might have pledged for a small level for the Kickstarter. So you got money, but did you get, it's like, it takes a bit of the excitement out when you make the product available outside of the Kickstarter also, even though most of the product won't be. So those are just like little things that, you take into consideration or you don't. And again, it's up to Reaper to decide what they want to do. I would just hope that there would be a purpose to it other than, but people are whining, right? Like, never give in to the whiners. Just bringing in a bit more black in here, guys. Want to shadow him out. Yeah, well, they should. Okay, samples in orders, 100%. We have years of data, like years of examples of putting paint in orders, meaning that people actually bought more Master Series. Like, we have gotten innumerable emails over the last 2 decades, like, from people who say, hey, I got a paint sample in my order, and I loved it, so I bought more, right? So that's like a complete no-brainer, is putting samples into orders. Like, complete no-brainer. I would think that, honestly, just based on past reception, I would think putting 2.0 in orders and starting that whenever, I think that's going to give you more bang for your buck than putting a sample set online. Because people will get intrigued, and then, you start doing it not too long before the Kickstarter, because you want the excite. You do it too far in advance, people just forget when the Kickstarter is. But yeah. But these are all my opinions, and I am just an opinion man. I have no dog in the race anymore. My dog is not racing, she's sleeping. Just getting a little bit more shadow in here. I mean, the people I know that now my info is out of date, except this. However, the people I know who wanted to get into doing commissions, like, for other than just local people, like, if you just want to do commissions for local people, you could just start painting at your local game store and just see who shows up. But that's bound to get you people who aren't willing to pay very much. We speak from experience at Paint Club. The people I know who made a success of it actually sold painted miniatures on eBay in today. Maybe Etsy is a better market, I'm not sure. But they sold painted minis on, like, eBay or Etsy. And in doing so, they got themselves a stable of buyers who liked their work. And then essentially they just went commission with those people. Like, they just would offer, they'd just be like, hey, I noticed you buying a couple of my pieces. Do you want me to do commission? I do commissions. If you're interested, let me know. Because then if you put up a piece for $30 on Etsy or $50 or whatever, and somebody buys it, and they buy a couple of your pieces, then you know what their price point is, you know whether you're happy with that price point, you kind of have an idea. Your work is worth exactly what someone is willing to pay for it. Yeah, exactly, Zeku. Yeah, I mean, consignment usually is more putting it on, like at your local game store. Like, that's what I think of as consignment, where the game store takes a cut. And I guess that's an online consignment site. That would be Etsy, right? Or eBay, both auction site. But yeah, so they went to the places where people were just looking to buy painted miniatures. They sold through that in order to get the eyeballs, right? Because you got to be where the eyeballs are. Like, however people are looking for commission services, that's where you have to be. And then, yeah, then you've got to get a reputation established, because right when nobody knows who you are, they may not, you're not very trustworthy at that point. So you have to get a little bit under your belt to show, hey, I do good work and I am capable of doing this and I have good turnaround and people aren't complaining, things like that. Yeah, Fiverr, I don't know. Like you, I'm not willing to deal with trolls. So it would have to be a pretty booming miniatures sales market on Fiverr. Also, the problem with Fiverr, and this is like somewhat, it's not really, I don't see it as a problem on Etsy as much. And eBay's always been pretty, not, it doesn't have that flavor. But Fiverr, the flavor of Fiverr for me is I want the work cheap. That's what Fiverr, that's its name, right? So I, as a miniatures artist, would probably, if I was going out there again and wanted to do commission work, God knows why I would, but but if I was doing it, if I was building a new name or something, I don't think I would use Fiverr unless a ton of like miniatures clients are on there. Because the problem is that you're looking for cheap work. And that means for me, I'm not going to get valued the way that I deserve to be valued. So it may be worth it to you if you're trying to build a studio, because sometimes people will pay more if it's an actual custom commission than they will for a piece of work. But if you're Fivering and you're saying, hey, I'll paint any model you want for $30 or whatever, that can screw you. That can really screw you. And the key to being an artist and making money at it is that the transaction should feel good on both sides. So you need to find the clients who are willing to pay you the amount that makes you feel good working for them. And that's always the challenge of commission work. You also need to figure out how much work you can handle, how many projects can you really do in a week, a month, things like that, stuff like that. But yeah, that's my only concern with Fiverr, is that like it is a platform that has really marketed itself on the whole, hey, get good work cheap. And it's too easy to get burned out that way as a miniature painter. I speak from experience. So just be wary and know your limits and know what you want for your work. And a lot of painters don't. They don't know what they want for their work. Like they're just kind of flailing about out there trying to figure out. And that's fair because, like I said, your work is worth exactly as much as someone will pay for it. But I think it's dangerous to only look at one platform. I think you should look at all platforms and see what painted minis of a certain level, ideally the level you can paint at, are going for, right? And some of these people are going to be commanding pretty good prices because they've been out there a while and they have a stable of people who like their work. And so that's what we come back to, right? If you're just somebody who's out there and people don't know you exist and you don't have like a couple of clients that really like your stuff yet, you can really get taken advantage of as far as the pricing. Ah, I see. Well, if you have any clients from your game studio, Zeku, and you could, and that you feel like you could reach out to, I would like reach out to those people not to get money, but to say, hey, I'm looking to do commissions. Like, where do you look, client? Where do you look when you're looking to buy a painted miniature? Like, essentially canvas your client base a little bit and say, hey, do you look on eBay? Do you look on Fiverr? Do you look on Etsy? Like, where do you just discover new people to paint for you? Like, how do you do it? Like, if you can get that answer and you notice that a bunch of them are saying Fiverr, I go to Fiverr, then, hey, you have an answer, right? And then you can look at Fiverr as like the way that other miniature painters are structuring their work and see if it can suit you, right? That kind of thing. No, you haven't. I guess, Laura, the thing is, I've been around for a while, and I remember when Fiverr started, and it was very, very much their brand when they first came out was, get work for cheaper. I mean, it's $5, right? That's the thing, Fiverr. Pay a Fiverr and get this awesome thing. So that was kind of their brand, and that just puts up a flag of caution for me as a as an artist. But like I said, if it works for you and you're able to get the money that makes you feel good about the transaction, that the client is also happy with, like that is what you want. You want the sweet spot. You need to figure out that sweet spot. And that can change over time too. Like in the beginning, I was happy getting 50 to $100 for a miniature. And then as I got a clientele and as I grew, then I was happy. I wouldn't have been happy considering the amount of work I was putting in. I essentially wasn't as happy getting that amount. I was happier with more. And my clients were happy to pay more because of the quality of the work, because I'd gotten better over the years, right? So it's an endless kind of little juggling act that you're just kind of trying to hit that sweet spot the most you can, and be aware for signs that someone is trying to take advantage of you to get cheaper work when your work is worth more than that. Yeah, so I always just want to caution new painters, because I know so many mini painters, guys, so many mini painters who've sold their work, and without exception, okay, I can think of maybe one person, and she had to learn it the hard way. One person who actually went out the gate charging what they were worth. And they had a hard time until they won some competitions. They had a hard time, but in the end, they could get that amount of money. So, but so many of us, we're just happy to be doing like what we love for money, and I was bad about it as well. Like the paint jobs that I was doing for 50 to $100, you guys would be aghast at. Like you'd be like, oh my God, like no way. These days, like I was just thinking about the fact that, and I keep like saying this, and I keep like totally getting distracted every month, but that I need to put up some minis for sale on my Patreon. And, I'll probably put them up for $100, but it'll be an auction, right? It'll start at 100. And so if nobody else bids, you could get an Ann Forster for $100. Which is, I will tell you, a bargain. I don't have that many models out there in circulation. Certainly not like modern ones. There we go. As long as you were happy, Thormel, and the client was happy, that's it, right? That's it. That's the sweet spot. And if you are happy painting a mini for someone for $30, even if it took you like 4 hours to do it and you're getting paid $8 an hour or less, but you enjoy it and you're like, hey, I got, gas money for the week, whatever. Like, if you're happy with that and that makes you feel good about it, then that's cool. Like, everybody's got a different level there, but just please don't, like, get into the trap of thinking, oh, I have to charge less because nobody's going to want to, to get me, to do me. And it's okay, honestly, if you have to charge a little less for the first few models, like, again, as long as you consider that an investment to build, like, to start building a client base, to get people, in eBay's case, you've got to get feedback, right? Positive feedback, you've got to get ratings and stuff. That's okay. Like I always put up models for cheaper the first few, but usually once people realize, what level you're at, and they're like, oh, okay, and then they get a better idea of what they would want to pay for it. So, and it depends whether you're having an auction site or you're doing a buy it now, or you're doing Fiverr where you're directly saying these are my rates. Like, it's all a different model, right? So, right, Butts, and that's the problem. Everybody's scared to ask for what they're worth. But that person was trying to send you a message. They were trying to say, hey, dude, I know the market. This is what you're worth. So if you need to knock $20 off that so that you feel a little better, do it. But don't cut it in half, right? So oh yeah, like I haven't done Etsy. Like I did eBay for quite a while though. I built my reputation on eBay. I built a stable of clients. I still was doing eBay while I was doing commission work. It did get way overwhelming for me after a while. I totally burned out and I was not very good at the end. Like I just got overwhelmed. I accepted way too many commissions. That's why I say also know how much work you can actually sustain. Learn from my mistakes. I know now that I really do not enjoy doing commission work, and so I just stopped doing it. if I were to, do anything like put myself out there again, it would just be, it'd probably be doing eBay, because then I can set a flat cost. I can do a couple of bargain pieces to get the people looking at me, and then I'm just like, then it's just an auction. It goes for what it's gonna go, but I can set the minimum. But I've already painted the piece, so there's no pressure. And you got to figure out what kind of worker you are too. Like for me, the pressure of the commission and knowing that it's not something that I chose to paint for myself makes it harder for me to work on it. And that's why I far prefer eBay, because I can paint the model I want to paint, and then I can just get some money for it. So for me, commissions didn't work because it's just too much external pressure, and I just wasn't willing to do it. Yeah, Gilded Brush. Both Jennifer, Haley, and I experienced that directly, and we always tell people about it. If you don't want to do commissions, don't set a super high price. They'll take it. You'll be shocked. Now Jen, of course, was world famous in her heyday, and still is world famous among certain people who have been around for a while. And I used to be pretty well known. But yeah, you can charge the asshole tax, but don't charge it. Don't charge it unless you're ready to do the work. Because that person's going to totally take you up on it. The asshole tax is what Ed always called it, by the way. So there we go, Ed. You've had some profanity. It's Fuck It Friday. So if you want to sell models that somebody else painted, if the person who painted it is fairly well known in the community, Turgeon, then I would say that. And I would make sure, if you're still in contact with that person, honestly, I would let them know that you're looking, that something has come up and you just need the cash and you're thinking about letting these go. It's kind of courteous. It's a little bit sad, and I, again, speak from experience, it's a little bit sad when you find out after the fact that people are selling your stuff. You're just like, oh, because you're just like, oh, they don't like it anymore, right? And it just makes you feel a little bad. But the people who I know who have told me, hey, stuff has come up and I'm having to liquidate some of my model collection and some of your stuff is in there, I'm like, oh, okay, I totally get it. And, maybe if I want that piece back, I can say, hey, will you just sell it back to me? Some artists would do that if they don't have any legacy pieces from a certain period, and they're like, oh, hey. So if you can tell that person, that, hey, I've got to clear out space and it's kind of crisis, and so I got to let some of your work go. I just wanted to let you know that I was going to be doing it. And then you can ask them, you can say, hey, is it okay if I say in the listing that, that it's your work? Is that all right? And then you've got a clear communication. They know, they're cool, you're cool. And you can, if they're well known, then yeah, you definitely want to be able to put that in the listing. So it's a courtesy thing for me. Poor Kodiak. Denied. Yeah, I mean, always kind of think of it from your perspective. I mean, obviously, if you haven't sold minis, then you're not. But as a painter, I've had somebody sell a mini as a direct way of lashing out at me. A model that I gifted to somebody, and then that person decided they didn't like me anymore, and then they essentially just, auctioned it off without telling me. And it was just a bad feeling. So it can feel that way. So it's good. I don't know if some people just don't care. Some artists don't care. So, but if you touch base, then you're being a good communicator. They're happy to have interacted with you again. It's all positive. Yeah, it was totally a great. He's just not a nice person, Gilded Brush. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you learn, right? You learn, and then you learn that you don't want that kind of person in your life anymore, and then boop. I'm pretty fearless at this point about kicking people out of my life. There's one left who is not paying attention to my boundaries that I set, who I'm thinking I'm sadly going to have to just completely boot. It took me so long to learn how to set boundaries with slightly toxic people that at this point, if they don't listen when I give them the boundaries, they're done. We are spotting it up here, guys. We're spotting it up. Spot, spot, spot. So many spots. Smaller spots on the limbs. So many spots. So many spots. Yep. Right, yes. Some people are trying to. Yeah, and that's another reason you should never underprice your work. Because those people are looking for people who are underpricing their work. Like, they're like, oh, this person's only selling their work for 25 bucks a mini. I could get 50 or 60. They just obviously don't know the market, right? And so, yeah, they're going to yoink it and they're going to try to put it up again. They're not going to give you credit. Heck no. It's not what they're in for. And that's where doing a little research and seeing like what people are selling their models for, people who are like your kind of at your level. A profitable enough Crowley. Like if you're buying a mini for 20 and you're 20 25 and you're turning around for 40 45, that's 20 bucks and all you had to do was list a model. And you could do quite a lot, you know, but it is scummy, yeah. Yeah, but that's why I always tell people I'm just like be aware of what your work is worth and try not to undervalue yourself because that just feeds those people too. They're taking the fact that you're happy that you sold a piece and they're just turning it around and ramming it, you know, with a really bad taste back down your throat. So most of those resellers are flipping so much volume that that's how they make their money. So no, it doesn't seem like they'd make a lot on a single sale, but it's not just a single sale. Yeah. Yep, pro painted. Yep, Trashorama. Yep, back in the day. Still today. The old pro painted flag, guaranteed to not be. Well, technically, I mean, if you've made money selling your miniatures, you are a professional by definition. But they use the term quite loosely. There, I just rounding up these little spots a little bit more. But yeah, it's there's always going to be people out there that are just going to make the whole process feel bad. And when you are putting yourself out there directly, and you're an entrepreneur, you are directly experiencing them. You don't you're not behind the shield of working for a company that's having to deal with these people. You have to deal with them directly. It's one of the downsides of being your own person. Just enlarging my dots a little bit over here. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like they're good there. All right, cool. Now let's get some of this teal in there. But yeah, resellers be resellers. Wherever they think they can see that they can make a buck, they don't care what it is, they're just going to grab it. Because for them, it's like, hey, I made 200 bucks today and all I had to do was buy a bunch of stuff and relist it, you know? I mean, some people who, some of the resellers are like doing a service. Like people, the vintage clothes people, they're pretty cool. Like going around to different stores, spotting the hidden gems, and then putting them up on the eBay or wherever. Like there's some people doing it in a cool way, but then there are also people doing it in a smarmy bad way. Get our teal in here. Start bringing it up. I want to bring it up on my highest highlight. Yeah. Oh, I need a little bit more paint in this. The aqua is not quite enough coverage. I was hoping we'd get to his face today, and I think we might. Then I need to go look up leopard faces, so I can do where the spots, get the spots right. I'm going to put a little bit of white in this aqua. That'll give it the coverage, and it'll still keep the color pretty sharp. So that lightened it. You can see, lightened it just a little bit. It's a little darker here where it's dried. Then I've lightened it just a tiny bit, but it's still quite recognizable as a surf aqua or surf aqua adjacent. Haven't put the green in yet because I'm not sure where I want the green, and I may end up adding a little bit of green after I do the tentacles, or I may just, once we have the tentacles in, I'll highlight the ends up to the green, and then I'll see if I really need it anywhere else except for the eyes, because the eyes are definitely going to be that glowing moth green. We're definitely doing glowing eyes on this one. In fact, I should grab some white and just paint in the eyes right now to remind myself. So I want to make sure that the eyes are going to be really, really bright. And for moth green being so translucent, that means underpainting it in white for sure. A nice solid coat of white. Oh, and this one I didn't solidly paint in the black. There's a little bit of white in the corner there. I wanted to paint it in black before I start putting the white over the top, so we didn't have a solid coat there. All right, and then we'll get that high. Need to get these base coated at least as well before I get too far in, so I'll probably do that today as well. We might do that right after we get this eye painted in, and then go and do the face a little bit. I like the spots though, guys. Do you like the spots? Good deal. Yay, spots. I think it's a way to make the model look a little cooler. Otherwise, Black Panther can be a little boring. Plus, I feel like with a phase cat, where it's kind of like, displacement stuff, illusion, light magic and stuff, I feel like having a pattern, actually a hypnotic kind of pattern, would help with that. always, because always just like add the highlights and then add the spots. You wouldn't even necessarily need to repaint it so much as just like extra highlights and then spots in the highlights. Okay, well, we've got glowing eyes now, so that's good. Yeah, let's get some of this stuff on. Alrighty, so our cat limb, make sure I've got all the, yeah, it looks pretty good. I need a bit of a bigger brush to base coat. Still need to get some of these little fur tufts, figure out how I'm going to highlight them, but it's okay. My paint's a little watery, but that's alright too. So the underside I'm just going to block in black. Yeah, my paint's gone a little thin because I've been highlighting, so that's alright. But yeah, trying to paint this when it's attached already would have been a pain in the butt, so. Alright, and then I'm probably going to do a fleshy color in here, in this membrane. So let's do black at the base. And then the black indigo. And I'm going to actually do a lot of the indigo and on the underside. Because I think the underside, these little, the claws, probably be doing, I'll be bringing in some fleshy color and then I'll be picking out the claws probably. And then I want to go up to I'm going to blend these in. And when I come in to shade and highlight all this that I'm blocking in right now, I will pretty much shade the Surf Aqua with the black indigo, and I'll highlight the black indigo with the Surf Aqua, and that will help to make it a transition. Oh, Keekster, really? And then let's see how this plays. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go up pretty fast to the moth green's going to be punchy. So bright. And I'm just gonna, like I said, just base coat, and then I can always over base coat in a more fleshy color. This is our test. Kiki, that's enough, please. See, I wanted to see if I could get a color transition all the way up from the purple to the green, kind of like that. Just the very tip be the really hot lime green, and then I can actually pop some white into that and make it even paler. So just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, and then when we've got this in place, then we've got that green back there, and I want the green in the eyes as well. And I might end up putting a little bit, we'll see, there'll be green here too. So there'll be numerous points of green, and then there's going to be the stripies. So we've got that and that. So I'm going to bring the aqua up. And I may end up putting a little bit of the green in there, but I'll have the tentacles on both sides, so the green will be visible on both sides. So that's what I'm thinking about right there. That's what I was thinking. That was in my head. And I think I might minimize the Surf Aqua a little bit and more do the purple-green transition. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe not. I'm going to probably block in. I'm going to let that dry because otherwise I'm going to just rub the paint off. Let's go back to Kitty's face. Don't have moth green, Kodiak? I just remember that like Displacer Beasts are always like, you know, black with kind of the hellish green eyes, which I thought, you know, moth green for sure. And yeah, Kiki, what's up? You're fine. No barks, please. Yeah, no barks. Not necessary. Not necessary. No, it's not necessary today. No, it's Friday. Friday's a wonderful day. Friday's a wonderful day. So if you're available, Quindy, I think I might paint a little bit tomorrow. Oh, Kodiak, now you're in real trouble. Oh no! Trolling Quindy! Oh, Kiki, they're trolling Quindy. Kiki's like, I'll bark at them. Hi there, Keekers. Yeah, otherwise, mixing it can be, unless you've got the phthalo green. Like, because it's really, the reason it's so vibrant is it's a mix of two pure pigments, so. But, yeah, I'm with Quindy. Like, how dare you show your face on this stream and not own moth green? Even I own moth green now. And I was a holdout for a long time. Yeah, there you go. You wanted the big voodoo lady anyways. Yeah, you gotta order it, otherwise they won't do more. No family tomorrow? Alright, yeah. Then I'll probably stream for at least a little bit. I was thinking about skipping, but then I realized that I'm taking 2 days off of running, because I'm going to be doing the trail run on Sunday, and it might be a 7-miler, so I think I want to rest up before I tackle that, so I am going to actually take it easy, which means I have a little more time, essentially, is what that means. My schedule doesn't get quite as crap-tastified. Let's put this green in here. If I don't have to fit in the runs, like that means Saturday morning I can actually work on book stuff that needs to get done, so that means I can stream because I don't have to fit in the book stuff elsewhere. Oh, cool, Roger. Yay, I'm glad you ordered it. Yeah, sure, Slayer. Yeah, it's my friend Anna. She's she's much thinner and younger and a faster runner than me. But trail, usually you're not concentrating on speed. So I went and scouted out this trail and did just 1.5 miles on it on Monday. And it's really gorgeous. If you didn't see my pictures. I live in a beautiful place, guys. Like, I feel like people around here forget this a lot. Forget just how absolutely gorgeous this area is. Like, we live in freaking paradise. Like, so this is part of the trail. And you can see the creek. and just the beautiful trees. The whole thing is like this. And it gets narrow also, and it goes up and down a lot. Um, yeah, it's just beautiful. And there's all sorts of trails like this around here. Like you just have to go like up into the Santa Cruz Mountains, and there's so much. Like half an hour away. I can drive half an hour and get to so many beautiful mountain trails. It's just not even funny. I mean, it's low mountains, but it's still like good, like a good workout, like elevation wise. But yeah, it's just gorgeous here. I'm thinking about getting a San Mateo County Parks Pass because that seems to be where a lot of these parks I want to run in are. Surf Aqua, Black Indigo, Moth Green, Pure White, Pure Black. There can be mountain lions, sagebrush, but it's usually there are specific signage. That particular park, not so much. It's really close to. It's more close to people. Some of the parks that and the trails that like if you get way up on the ridge, there are signs that say beware of mountain lions. These are pretty low mountains, but yeah, we do get a bit. Yeah, I didn't go quite as I did more greenish back here. I think I want to put a little bit of green in these. So I am going to take some of this greenish color in. The green and blue mix. All right, now I did put a glaze over the hindquarters here to dull it down a little bit. So I want to get my green in here, but then I will do a glaze here too. But yeah, I know the mountain lions can be dangerous, so it's good that I'm going with people this weekend. Yeah, I don't think this particular park has reported any mountain lion sightings. Yeah. Well, I'd rather they just disappear and not actually pounce on me, like apparently happened to some bikers not long ago. I don't remember where that was. Anybody else hear about that? Mountain lion that attacked 3 girls while they were biking on trails. It's very rare, I know. But the more we impinge on their habitat, the more likely encounters happen. I think one girl got mauled. I think the other two. If I remember correctly, they were mountain biking, and one or two of the girls actually, like, pulled the cat off of their friend, and pinned it under a bike, like, which is poor kitty, but also, ugh. Let me see where that happened. Bicyclist, Whiting Ranch, wherever that is. It was a young mountain lion. "19 miles into their bike." Wow. All survived, but one of the cyclists suffered a serious bite wound to her jaw. Riding on a popular biking trail. I'm trying to figure out where it was. Seattle. Okay. Riding on a popular biking trail near North Bend, east of Seattle. One of the cougars decided to jump on the lady at the rear of the group. Yeah, scary, huh? Oh, wow, the lady who got attacked was 60 years old. Took them 15 minutes to get the cat off of her. Oh my gosh. Wow. So when it finally let go of the one woman, they were afraid it would turn around and attack again, so they used one of the bikes to pin the cat to the ground, and three of the women had to stand on it. And one of them, meanwhile, one of them called 911. And apparently it was more than one lion. Apparently it was like a couple of young lions together, and one of them decided to take the risk, to take the shot. They must have been really hungry. Oh, yeah. Actually, I've been reading or listening to a book about kind of human evolution and like why, why our natural weaponry kind of disappeared and stuff, and like the changes we made. Everything from moving to trees to starting to cook our food meant that we didn't need like as much natural weaponry. It's interesting. All right, I'm going to glaze black over this. I'm going to be moving my brush in the direction of the fur. I don't expect to leave any texture, but if I move the brush in the direction of the fur, then if I do leave texture, it'll be correct. Yeah, apparently one of the women was just like, when it happened, she just like yelled to one of the other ones, "Call 911. We need somebody with a gun, and we need we need an ambulance, and we need somebody with a gun." But yeah, it's scary, and it makes me sad. As somebody who has always loved animals and thinks mountain lions are beautiful, and I know they're also predators, but it's sad that like we're just they're like pushed to do this, right? We're in their places, and that it's become so fraught. I keep saying I'm going to do the face, guys, but then I keep going back to the body. So a little bit lighter here in the body. I want to keep shadow areas around it. Hey, Carrie Michael. I wondered if any of the, I don't know, what are we calling ourselves? Since Ron has said that, all the women behind the liner, the liner Reapercon factions, probably have a secret email group somewhere. What are we calling ourselves? Do we have a name? Just going in with a little bit of green here just to bring out the center. Oh, okay, that makes sense. They must have been struggling, yeah. Don't think we picked one. I mean, the color coven obviously, yeah, is a good choice. That's a good choice. But yeah, the Reapercon art kicks ass. Even if Ron refused to do non-human characters. Yep, Color Coven. I'm in there. I'm with that. 100%. Glaze, 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 the black. Glaze, glaze, glaze. I can also layer with my glaze. If I want to really make the black kind of grow here and take over more of the spots. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, I want this kind of invisible, and then you see the spots. I like how this front part is turning out. Oh no! Crowley wins. Happy Friday, Crowley. I'm gonna do a little bit more black glazing here. Just bringing the black in even more here. There we go. All right, Roger, have a good one. Game make swag. That's cool, Carrie. Oh, no, I didn't realize. Hold on, let me go back. Is it 72? It's 60. It's actually pentuple. But I do have to sing because it's 60. 1 second. Carrie needs her song. Is it centuple or pentuple? Let's do a pentuple. Pentuple subiversary, pentuple subiversary, pentuple subiversary. Happy pentuple subiversary. There you go, Carrie. I'm sorry, I didn't even see the 60. Quintuple. Pentuple. I don't care. I just do whatever. I just do whatever makes an easier sing. Alrighty. Kitty cat. We're almost... I think I'm going to look at leopard faces and we'll at least like sketch in some. So let me look up leopard face. Leopard face. Oh, very, very small spots. Very intricate. I like the dark line down the forehead here. And bars. Bars with the whiskers. There we go. This looks like a friendly guy. So, alright. Kind of fans of tiny spots that are irregular, and then the bars, and lots of spots on the forehead. Let's see what we can do. And kind of creases, dark creases around the eyes. Alright, I'm going to grab my black. So we're definitely do the bars, black bars on the muzzle. And The nose is pink, and this nose might end up pink too. If I do a fleshy color for the root of the tentacles, if I do a fleshy color here, I might make the nose the same. But we'll black it in for now. And then there really aren't any spots on the nose. Just shadows. There are definitely little tear spots and black lighter around the eyes. So I think I want to take a lighter color and get around the eyes. Oh no. The Barkathon is back. Kiki, that's a no. Come on. Come here. Come here, Keeks. No, that's enough. Come here. Come on. Bark it out. Yeah. We're out of barks now. We're out of barks. Yeah. Good girl. Good quiet. It's almost done with stream, Bubs, so you gotta be quiet, okay? Yeah. I do not math on Fridays either. Math is my husband's problem. Kiki, that is enough. Don't get me mad at you. So lighten around the eyes. And then there's going to be dark spots up here. I'm going to make the spots a little bit bigger because it's on a miniature. So whenever we're working on a smaller scale, we need to overemphasize patterns. Need to make them a little bit simpler, a little bit bigger so they show up. Alright, so they kind of fan out. Just kind of checking this. Start doing some spots here. Do you know that leopard facial spots are unique and how scientists tell cats apart? Little spots. Yeah, especially when the cat's locked onto your jaw, like a little bit lower, and then she would be dead, right? The only way they actually got the cat off of her was when it tried to reposition. That was the only, they tried to they tried to hit it in the eyes, they tried to pry its jaws, it just was not, it was locked on. Oh yeah, the Revenant thing. Yep. That's why I didn't watch that. I did not watch that movie. I do not feel like I have missed anything through not watching it. I think I'm going to make little stripes up here. Little eyebrow stripes. There are some things that I don't need in my head, and a bear mauling a human is one of them. And I think I want that dark stripe down the middle. And then, looks like I can do some cool patterns here. Yeah, you deserved exile for that one, Kodiak. It's only temporary exile, though. Some of these I need to bring in a little bit more color. It really is a jumble of spots on leopard faces. And then their spots look so much more orderly on the rest of the body. The no-no box. Oh no, not the no-no box. Yeah, these spots might be too small. I might need to just simplify a little bit. And if that happens, then I can just join up some spots and make a couple of them larger. So I just joined up a bunch, and I like that a little better. Yeah, I like again, a smaller model, bigger spots better. So I think I'm going to actually remove the spots from here. I like this to be a cleaner area. That's a little better, yeah. I think I'm going to join up some of these forehead spots as well. I think I need to get a little more A little more cohesive here. I'm just going to make a big black stripe that goes all the way down here. Because he is a displacer beast, so he doesn't have to be exactly leopardy. And then he's got a line there. And I'm going to make a couple of these spots a little bigger. So that looks a little bit more. I don't think I need to see any bear attack scenes. Yeah, you could actually, since the tentacles are on this, like you could clip off the tentacles and just put a saddle there, like sculpt, put a bit of green stuff and sculpt a saddle, and that'd cover up where the tentacles used to be, and you could just have the gnome, no more other character riding the cat. Ugh, no thank you, no more traumatizing bear attacks, please. Alright, so now we've got very blocked in on this side, you know. So we've got like, this is what we end with. Although I haven't done the tail yet. Kiki, no. And then this is where we started. So we've got one side. Woohoo, one side of a cat. No, not one side of a bark. No, hey, enough of you. Enough, Kiki. Leave it. Come here. Come here. Thank you. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough, Missy. She says, yeah, I'm going to lick your face, Mama. I'm going to placate you. I didn't mean it. I meant it. I didn't mean it. I meant it. Yeah, you totally meant it. You did. I know. Settle down. It's almost time. Trying to think if there's anything else. I'm going to make the ears black. And I think I'm going to do like the lighter, the black indigo plus white. I think I'm going to do just to pick out little bits of like fur texture on the ears and other black areas, like the main, wherever the fur texture is actually sculpted. But we'll get to that next time. And he's got little teeths too. I got to remember the little teeths. Little teeths. Just going to mark them in white so I remember them. Teeth. There we go. Teeths. We've got eyes and teeths. Yep. So there's our one side, and yeah, we'll need to like continue finishing up our little tentacles. And fur. Next time we have full strength paint, and we'll get those mapped in, and then once I don't want to put these on, obviously, until I have the stripes. You can see that if I had tried to attach the tentacles, I wouldn't have been able to reach some of those areas. But you can still see them. You can still see behind them, so that's why I want to paint it, and then I'll be attaching it. This one we won't have to do much green stuff. It fits really well. Just a little bit probably green stuff around the edge here. But this other side is pretty gappy. So I'm going to have to do some green on this side in order to get it to work. So, yep, so there'll be green stuff around that. All right, guys, that's where we're going to end today. Yeah, I think I will be on tomorrow working on my Golden Demon piece for at least a little bit. I want to feel like I have some time to just do whatever I want, but I feel like I want to work on the Golden Demon piece, so expect me on tomorrow sometime between 3 and 3:30 Central Time, and we'll work on Lion. I'm probably going to work on his cloth. I think I want to shade down the cloth quite a bit. Oh, you're going to raid Luca? Oh, yeah. Yeah, raid the Luca. All right, thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you later, and have a good one. Quindy, thank you for modding, and I'll see you tomorrow, I guess.